Happy New Year, everybody, and Tony here with my second to the last Red Ribbon Reviewer contribution for this year, which is a review of Johann Strauss's Die Fledermaus, which was shown at the Volksoper Wien. The conductor was Rudolf Bibel. The production was done by Heinz Sednik, who I always known him as a character tenor in different operas, and here he was directing this particular production of Johann Strauss's operetta Die Fledermaus. Pretty much a great New Year's surprise. The set design was handled by Pantelis Decelas. The costumes were done by Doris Engel and Evelyn Frank. The choreographers were Lili Clemente and Susanne Kirbauer. And the chorus master was Thomas Böttcher. Now, I first heard about this operetta ever since I was about 9 years old, when I first heard Charlotte Church's rendition of The Laughing Song from her fourth album, Enchantment. And I was quite curious about this operetta back then. Safe to say, as I grew up and even listened to the original Laughing Song in German, and along with the other famous numbers of this operetta, I slowly grew fascinated with this opera, and even in terms of its story. Yes, its story was kind of funny and silly, but it's all done in great humor, all done with a certain amount of charm, and it's very much a great comedy. So basically the story goes like this. Gabriel von Eisenstein has been very unfaithful to his own wife, Rosalinda, and Rosalinda is very unfaithful to her own husband. Having an affair with Alfred, and with Eisenstein, he's been having affairs with a lot of other women. So disguises ensue, and a lot of crazy things ensue, especially in terms with their chambermaid Adele, who also disguises herself as a chanteuse by the name of Olga. The Prince of Russia, named Prince Orlovsky, comes in to entertain the guests and to be entertained because, well, he's been kind of gloomy as of late. And then everything in the final act comes together where Prince Orlovsky and all the other characters come on in and just have a toast to champagne while Eisenstein serves his prison sentence. So it's a basically crazy story, but it's filled to the brim with a lot of fun, a lot of great musical numbers, and, well, backed up by what I felt was really great singing today, and more on the singers later. Safe to say that I really love the production. Special mention has to go to the likes of Heinz Sednik, who is also the main director of this production, mostly because I think he's also sung the role of Dr. Blind in the past, which is a very well-known character role in this particular operetta. So with his experiences with this particular opera and in many other operettas and operas even then, he really brought his skill in terms of his direction, in terms of the charm that he brings to the text and to the characters, and he brings a certain flair which makes it very much worthwhile watching. Everything from the set designs to the furniture to the costumes, everything about it was authentic, gorgeous, colorful, and it was just a great way to really spend my New Year's Eve with this really wonderful production. And then we get to the singers, and oh boy, I have a lot to talk about these singers, especially when it comes to the roles that they sing. Let's start off with the main ladies, starting off with Rosalinda von Eisenstein, sung by the magnificent Austrian soprano who's been very well known for her roles in the dramatic coloratura, full lyric, and even the spinto repertoire, Christiane Kaiser. Now, it's no surprise that a lot of sopranos, whether they be lyric coloratura, dramatic coloratura, full lyric, and even spinto, have all sung this difficult yet exciting character. Me personally, I always prefer a dramatic coloratura soprano singing Rosalinda. Any soprano who has sung the likes of Constanze, the Queen of the Night, Donna Anna, Elettra, Vitellia, Amalia from I Masnadieri, Violetta from La Traviata, Elena from Vespri Siciliani, Lucia di Lammermoor, Lucrezia Borgia, Anna Bolena, Maria Stuarda, Elisabetta from Roberto de Vereux, Marguerite from Faust, and even the likes of the Queen Marguerite from Les Huguenots, and of course the lyrical parts of Zdenka from Arabella, and Aitra from Egyptische Helena, and Daphne from Richard Strauss. Any soprano who sings these roles would also flock to sing Rosalinda, mostly from the dramatic coloratura variety, but there has been a lot of great successes with lyric sopranos and spinto sopranos who flock to sing this very, very exciting role. And Christiane Kaiser was an absolute beauty in this role. I first heard her in the morning as Leonora from Il Trovatore by Verdi, in which she sung her opening aria Tacea la notte. I thought she really did flawlessly with that aria. She was gorgeous in all the registers. She had a very, very excellent stage presence and something that I definitely admired. And here, as Rosalinda, I thought she was excellent. Yes, she may not be those super high dramatic coloratura sopranos like the likes of Joan Sutherland or Beverly Sills or Christina Dertekom, Eda Moser, or even what we have today with the likes of Elena Moshuk, Diana Damrau, Clara Kolonitz, and Jessica Pratt. But she, regardless, has a very fine instrument and very wonderful acting chops. She's a great comedian, she's a great dramatist, and she can really pull off her role very well, helped with a lyrical, rich and creamy instrument. When she sings her high notes, it's just so brilliant. It's so brilliant that it's exciting. And when she goes to the middle and the lower ranges, she sings them with a nice, creamy, and rich tone without any harshness whatsoever. She definitely sang the role of Rosalinda very well. Singing the role of the Eisenstein's chambermaid is Adele, sung by Anita Götz. The first time I've heard about this really wonderful soprano. So basically with the role of Adele, she is the complete opposite of Rosalinda. Whereas with Rosalinda, you need a dramatic coloratura soprano. With Adele, you need a lyric coloratura soprano, and at times even a light lyric soprano. Any soprano who has sung the likes of Blonde, Elia, Giunia, Rosina from Barbiere di Siviglia, I'll be in the soprano key, the Countess Adele from Le Comptoir, Lucia de Lammermoor even, Gilda from Rigoletto, Oscar from Ballo in Maschera, Dinora Urbain from Les Huguenots, Juliette from Romeo et Juliette, Amina from La Sonnambula, and even Giulietta from I Capuletti Montecchi, and even Olympia from Le Comte of Man have all flocked to sing this role. Several lyric coloratura sopranos have even sung this role and have considered this to be a staple of their operetta repertoire. In fact, there were a couple of sopranos, most notably Edita Gruberova, who first started out singing the role of Adele, but then has also graduated to the role of Rosalinda. I think the same fate might even happen to Diana Damrau, because she even started singing with Adele, but I think she's kind of retired from that part, so something tells me that she's probably going to sing Rosalinda in the near future. Going to Anita Götz's interpretation of Adele, I thought she was an absolute darling. She has a darling stage presence, and she has excellent acting chops. She's a great comedian. She is full of vivacity and enthusiasm that really makes her shine, and her charisma in this character is totally spot on. And in terms of her singing, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can sense a bright future for this wonderful young soprano. Probably she might even sing a couple of zerbinettas in the near future. Which also reminds me, even a lot of zerbinettas have even flocked to sing Adele and have found great success aside from singing the role of zerbinetta. So it's easy to say that Anita Götz was excellent in this role, giving off such a vivacity and a sparkle in terms of her voice and in terms of her comedic timing and in terms of her acting skills. She was excellent in this role. So brava to you, Mademoiselle Goetz, for really bringing such a strong impression to Adele. And then we get the gentleman. Let's start off with Herr Gabriel von Eisenstein, sung today by a singer that I've greatly admired. I really love his Pedrillo when I saw a couple of clips on him on YouTube and absolutely enjoyed him. And I've also heard a couple of clips of him as Lohengrin, and I thought, man, I'm very excited to see this singer on stage. I'm of course referring to Merzad Montazeri. It's no surprise that the role of Eisenstein has attracted a lot of full lyric tenors, spinto tenors, dramatic tenors, hellen tenors, heck, even lyric baritones, high lyric baritones. Whether you have a tenor or a baritone singing this role, they have all brought something very special to the table, not just in terms of their singing, but also in terms of their voice. Yes, I do like some baritone Eisensteins, the likes of Hermann Prey and Eberhard Wächter, but I've always loved it when any full lyric spinto or dramatic tenor sings the role of Eisenstein. Any tenor who has sung the likes of Belmonte, Tito, Idomeneo, Carlo from Imas Nadieri, Poglione from Norma, and even to the likes of Arturo from I Puritani, and Ernani from Verdi's Ernani, Alfredo from La Traviata, Arrigo from I Vespri Siciliani, and even Cavaradossi from Puccini's Tosca, and even the likes of Lohengrin, Herodes, Walter von Stolzing, Erik from Der Fliegende Holländer, Loge from Das Rheingold, and many, many other great lyric and spinto tenor roles. A lot of tenors and baritones have flocked to sing this role with an equal amount of success. And I thought that Merzad Montazeri definitely exceeded my expectations. Like I said, I first saw him on YouTube. I saw a couple of clips of him as Pedrillo and Lohengrin, and I thought he had a very wonderful instrument. And he proved it very well today with this really thankless yet very exciting and very fun character. His comedic timing was superb. His voice was in fine form. There were no gaps, cracks. There were no inconsistencies in his voice. His voice had a very fine timbre, and he was a total joy to see on stage. And then we get the other tenor role of Alfred, the opera singer, sung today once again by, let's see right here, Schabolks Brickner. I saw him last night as Edwin from Chardersfürsten, and here he was again in this wonderful tenor role. Now, as opposed to Eisenstein, Alfred needs a more lyrical tenor voice, but even like Eisenstein, he's also been attracting a lot of spinto and dramatic tenors. Yes, I do prefer a lighter lyric tenor voice and even a full lyric tenor voice, as opposed to Eisenstein's more spinto-y voice. Singers who have sung Alfred have also sung the likes of Tamino from Magic Flute, Don Ottavio, Belmonte, Pedrillo, Iachino, the Duke from Rigoletto, Alfredo from La Traviata, Tonio from La Fille du Régiment, Edgardo from Lucia de Lammermoor. In fact, a lot of Eisensteins also did sing Edgardo. Well, to the root of my knowledge. And even the likes of Ernesto from Don Pasquale, Nemorino from L'Elisir d'Amore, Lenski from Eugene Onegin, and even the likes of even the early Verdi operas like Riccardo from Oberto. A lot of singers who have sung the lyric tenor repertoire have all flocked to sing Alfred. And here he was, the wonderful Schabolks Brickner, who was giving such an excellent performance as this character. And I am a huge, huge fan of his voice. He has a very fine timbre. His timbre is elegant, yet piercing. His stage manners and his acting was enthralling and superb. He was totally engaged in his character. Not to mention, I really love that scene where Merzad Montazeri and Szalboix-Brückner had almost a little spat with each other in the final scene. Probably always love it when I see a couple of tenors like really trying to beat the crap out of each other. I thought it was just definitely great. And with Szalboix-Brückner, he's definitely enjoyable in this type of repertoire. And I really enjoyed him in this role, helped by such an elegant manner and an equally gentlemanly presence that I was totally enthralled. In fact, I kind of have a little bit of a crush on this tenor. He was excellent. I also have a little bit of a crush on Merzad Montazeri, but what more can I do? I'm a huge sucker for tenors, being a tenor myself. So to really see such an excellent gentleman in such top form was wonderful. Then we have the mezzo pants role of Prince Orlovsky, sung by Manuela Leonhardt-Berger. Now, the thing about Orlovsky is that, yes, he's also attracted a lot of lyric mezzos, dramatic mezzos, and even contraltos. Yet for some rare occasions, there have been some Wagnerian sopranos who have sung Orlovsky with a great amount of success. The one that comes on the top of my mind was Anya Silja, who sang this role much later in her career, and even Gabriele Schnaut. So whatever you slice it, whether you have a Wagnerian soprano, or even a lyric mezzo, or a dramatic mezzo, or even a contralto singing this role, there's no doubt that this wonderful character has attracted a lot of singers, most notably not only Gabriele Schnaut, but also the likes of Brigitte Fassbender and Doris Sofer, to name a couple of examples. They've all had great successes in this role, and it's no wonder why a lot of mezzos and even dramatic sopranos alike would flock to sing this excellent character role because of his one aria, Ich lade mir die Gäste ein, which usually has the phrase Chacun a son goût. It's a definitely wonderful concert piece that a lot of mezzos found themselves singing, and I thought with Manuela Leonhardt-Berger, I thought she was wonderful. I thought she had a certain swagger, a certain elegance, and a certain brilliance and charisma in this role. It's also helped that her voice was fine, gorgeous, and even throughout all the registers. She didn't sound too chesty, nor did she sound too high. I thought she was excellent in this role. And she is definitely up there with a lot of the greats who sang this really wonderful character. And then we get to the role of the prison governor, Frank, sung by Daniel Olenschläger. Now, Frank does also need a great dramatic baritone. In fact, there are times he's sung by a bass baritone. In fact, there were baritones who had successes as Eisenstein who basically also flocked to sing Frank. And I always love it when a dramatic baritone sings this wonderful character role. Any baritone who sung the likes of Nabucco, Macbeth, and Telramund have also flocked to sing this wonderful character. With Daniel Olenschläger, I thought he was excellent. He has a very fine voice, he has a very engaging stage manner, and his mannerisms and his masculinity were just a total turn-on for me. He was excellent in this wonderful character role. And then we have the role of Dr. Falke, sung by, let's see right here, Günther Haumer. Now, Dr. Falke also does need a dramatic baritone, but at times a lot of lyric baritones have also had great successes with this character role. With Günther Haumer, I thought he was just wonderful. He had a very fine voice, he had a very fine manner, his comic timing was excellent, and he was just a lot of fun on stage. He was very engaging and really played off well with the other co-stars. Then we have the role of Dr. Blind, sung by Karl Michael Ebner. Now, this role is a very superb character tenor role. A lot of character tenors have flocked to sing this role and found great success. With Karl Michael Ebner, I thought he was excellent as always. Yes, I also did see him last night in Czardaśfürsten as one of the characters, and he was excellent in this role as usual. He had a lot of character in his voice, and his stage manner was engaging. And we even have the smaller roles of Ida, and one of the servants of the prince, and of course, Frosch, done by Claudia Nagy, who gave such a sass and charm to Ida. And then we have Heinz Flitzka, who is absolutely engaging, even though he has a very thankless small part. And we even have Robert Meyer, who did the role of Frosch. He was excellent in this character role. He was bombastic, and that's why I liked him in this role. So it's no surprise that all the singers and all of the actors who did their parts did them wonderfully, and the conducting done by Rudolf Bibel was actually really great. Yes, the overture was kind of in a little bit of a weak start, or a good start, so to say, but it managed to build up, and I could totally forgive that little shortcoming. And it's very easy to say that all of the chorus members and all the dancers really did wonderfully, and I was totally amazed of today. So overall, what more can I say about this particular production of Johann Strauss's Die Fledermaus? It is excellent. And with very famous tunes like the Overture, which you've also heard in the Tom and Jerry short Tom and Jerry Live from the Hollywood Bowl, and even Adele's laughing song, Mein Herr Marquis, and even Rosalinda's Czardaś aria, Klänge der Heimat, and a lot of other well-known numbers. This is definitely a very wonderful operetta that I've witnessed. And for those of you who haven't seen this particular production of Johann Strauss's Die Fledermaus, I beg you, please see it. This is excellent, especially if you're going to have awesome singers like this. Yes, I know there are also different cast members, and I'm sure they're also great as well. But with singers like Christiane Kaiser, Miazat Montazieri, Anita Götz, and Szabolcs Brückner, to name a few, I have to say that they're all excellent. Well, that's all for this review of Johann Strauss's Die Fledermaus at the Volksoper Wien. Tune in much later this evening, where I finally review the three mezzos, Anne-Sophia von Otter, Angelika Kirchschlager, and Natalia Kowalek, who are going to be singing at the Theater an der Wien, and they are basically specializing in a lot of modern opera arias. So stay tuned for that. And this is also going to be my final Red Ribbon Reviewers contribution of this year. So stay tuned for that, everybody.